What is glycemic index?
So glycemic index, we just measure how a food increases the sugar levels in the body. So what is the speed? Say we can just we can assume. And we always classify foods as high glycemic index, moderate glycemic index, low glycemic index, and we always think that the low glycemic index are better foods.
Because it is decreasing the spike of the glucose
Decreasing the spike of the glucose levels inside the body.
Correct.
But the problem in glycemic index is that, I will say for an example, I will tell two things. Watermelon, ice cream.
Ice cream.
Which do you think has more glycemic index?
Ice cream.
No. Watermelon has a glycemic index way higher than ice cream. Ice cream has a glycemic index of only around 40 to 45. Watermelon has a glycemic index of more than 80. But because the ice cream, the glycemic index is determined by the amount of glucose. Very important. Glucose, not fructose. See, even rice, we eat rice. Rice has a glycemic index of around 70 to 80 based on the type of rice, refined, unrefined. Even wheat has the same, ragi has the same. Wheat in raw form, little bit less, around 60, but when it is taken as a flour, wheat flour, it is little bit more. Actually, the refined white sugar has less glycemic index than all these idli, dosa, chapati. The refined white sugar has a glycemic index of only around 55 to 60. Because refined white sugar is sucrose, which is half glucose and half fructose. The fructose will not spike the sugar levels that much, but it will be silently increasing the insulin resistance inside the body.
Mainly the liver.
Yeah, mainly the liver. So even though it doesn't rise the sugar levels, it creates problem silently. The ice cream, why it has low glycemic index? Because ice cream is half milk fat. So fat doesn't raise the sugar levels. Then again, I am coming to the next point. So one who is listening, one might think, okay, watermelon has high glycemic index. But comes the next question. So it all depends on how much carbohydrate load in that. That is what determined by a factor called glycemic load. So that is the, say, if you take 100 grams of one substance. So the glycemic index multiplied by the carbohydrate content, that is called glycemic load. That actually determines the increased blood sugar levels. So the watermelon is still healthy because even though it has a very high glycemic index, because of the higher glucose content, the sugar content is pretty low. So only 8 grams of carbohydrates in 100 grams of watermelon. So the glycemic load will be pretty low in watermelon. So even though glycemic index is small, the glycemic load will be pretty low. But at the same time, say if the person is having some millet with a glycemic index of 55 or 60, one will say, okay, it's a moderate glycemic index, low glycemic index. But if the person takes around 200 or 250 grams of boiled weight of that rice, it will have more glucose spike than this watermelon or this thing. So that is why I will say a simple example usually. I will ask a question usually. So which will burn very fast, petrol or wood? Petrol. So again I'm asking second question. Which will burn more, one drop of petrol or one truckload of wood?
Truckload of wood.
Now why the answer has changed?
Because of volume.
Because of the volume. So the how fast the fuel burns, it is the glycemic index. But the actual thing what that matters is what is the load. So even though petrol may burn faster, the quantity of the fuel matters here. That is why the glycemic load matters. Glycemic index matters, but only to some extent. The glycemic load matters more. So whatever millets you are taking, whatever carbs, is the load that matters. So that is why replacing the carbohydrates with fats or proteins is different. So we all say about this glycemic index 50, 60. We never speak about glycemic index of these proteins and carbs. The glycemic index of egg is 0. Glycemic index of these nuts are just 5 to 10. It is nowhere near that 50, 60. We always debate between white rice or brown rice. Millets or ragi. But these are way lower in glycemic index. They do not rise the sugar levels at all. For a diabetic person, the pre-meal sugars is say 150. After eating 4 eggs, the post meal sugar will also be 150. There will be zero rise in blood sugar levels. So the glycemic index is zero actually.
Wow.
So that is why lowering carbohydrates helps in a lot of things.
So that's why they say, just replacing your dosa with ragi dosa. But if you keep eating 2 or 3 dosa,
Yeah, that is a problem.
for that you could eat your regular dosa with just 1 or 2 and replace that with something else.
Some proteins, egg or some veg proteins or whatever.
When I say that, the main problem that my patient is telling me is that, see, I have already cholesterol. And when I have a lot of cholesterol, you're asking me to eat fat. Isn't it contradictory? What is your take on that?
So that we should start from the cardiologists. So our society from say the 1970s, 80s, we have always feared cholesterol. And but the problem is, so in cholesterol lipid profile, we know there is total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, HDL, and triglycerides. So total cholesterol, everyone knows. Some cholesterol high, they get panicked. But many don't know about these components. Some know about this HDL. They think it is good cholesterol, HDL. They know this. But not many people know about this triglycerides and LDL. So in Indian population, the main dyslipidemia, that is altered lipid profile, is mainly high triglycerides. It is not high LDL. High LDL is there only in a very small subset of population actually. So many of these people are diabetic metabolic syndrome and they have high triglycerides. And that can be reversed only by eating healthy fats and reducing the carbohydrates. Even many doctors don't understand this. We talk in CMEs, conferences. We write the metabolism, we display and we talk. So the triglycerides is never due to eating fat, and you cannot reduce by reducing fat. Triglycerides, even we have seen triglycerides of 800,000. They are on phenofibrates. Many drugs not able to reduce. Put them on a low carb, it will come down to 200 in 3 months. So the main problem is triglycerides actually. LDL is a subset. LDL cholesterol does not respond well to diet at all. Many people should understand. LDL cholesterol, some maybe little bit reducing saturated fats, little bit it might help. But many people with high LDL around 180 or 200 mg, they do not respond to diet. It's an inherent genetic problem. They have to be put on drugs if it is very high, or if it is borderline high, we can just leave it as it is.
Low carb will also help LDL.
Low carb will help reducing triglycerides, but not LDL. Yeah. So the main cholesterol problem in most of this population is high triglycerides, and actually low carb will help. LDL problem anyway, diet will help in a subset of population up to only a certain limit. So by 20 to 30 points, the diet can reduce, but not significantly. So if it is warranted, they have to be on medicines. But triglycerides, even in the range of thousands, can be reduced with diet. Not even by medication.
Because the excess carb is getting converted into
triglycerides.
Yeah. Wow.